How y'all doing? How y'all doing? This is Alvin here on Trying Success on the Old Fashioned Health Network. Good health inside and out. You all are not going to believe I have Mr. Jay White again here on my show, but I had to bring him back because he has written this amazing book that caught my eye because of the title alone, let alone what's in the book. But the book is called No More Bodies.
No More Bodies.
Check it out. So, Jay, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
The people that don't know you, can you tell them a little bit about you? You can't tell them all of the history because there's a lot, but just tell them a little bit about yourself.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me, Alvin, and the Old Fashioned Food Network. I appreciate you.
Old Fashioned Health Network. He's saying food, y'all, because I just got through. He eats first.
Got to finish feeding.
You know what I'm saying?
Old Fashioned Health
Network.
Health is your wealth.
There you go.
My apologies. Yeah, man, I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful to have gifts and talents and use them, which has brought me here today. So I appreciate you for having me. At the end of the day, man, I'm just another dude, man, with 24 hours in a day, just like everybody else. I just invest my time a little bit different, not better, just different, centered around my gifts. So I've been fortunate to be able to create anything I pretty much put my mind to, and with the community at the center of that, those creations bring opportunities for other people, which at the end of the day, none of us are an island. I think if we're doing the work that we're called to do, it's going to be in service to others. Just like we're here in this amazing studio, you built this studio not just for you, but for the community. So You're doing your part. That's all I do. I just do my part.
You do a great job at it. As you were talking, I was thinking about a lot of people, so I can do little bullet points of why you all may remember Jay. One would be the restaurant on Peter Street. The other one would be at church at Impact. Another one would be Jay is the one that did the bow ties in a bottle. Jay is the one that has written some movies that has not yet hit the the main circuit yet that you got to see. I've seen some snippets, especially the one you went out of the country. You remember the one I'm talking about? So there's things that I know, other people that I know that know Jay are going to remember the little bullet points like those, like, oh yeah, it's that guy. So yeah, so I'm giving you tips so you can kind of pull them all together. Now, not to mention he's written 10 books. All right, so I had him on here today because I wanted to talk to him about No More Bodies and what that book was about. Now, I have several of his other books. I'm turning around so y'all can see that he's written a lot of books. All these are by him. Jay wrote all these books, and now he's teaching people how to write books. And I'm trying to get him to teach me how to get the book out of my head and put it on paper. So you're teaching that too, right? All right, so we're going to talk about that later, but right now, we're going to talk about No More Bodies.
No More Bodies.
What made you write this book?
Man, I wrote this book because I wanted to see change. I still want to see change in our communities. But primarily, I want to just be intentional. I want us to be more intentional about changing our narrative. Nobody's coming to save us but us. And how we relate in our relationships is going to determine what type of foundation we build, what type of structure we build, what's constructed, what's deconstructed, what is reconstructed. That's why I wrote this book, man. It's a call to action for us to just be intentional. I'm gonna stay with that theme for today.
Okay.
What are we building? And being intentional. Being intentional. We have to be intentional about what we're building, who we're building with, why are we building with this individual versus just trying to smash somebody. Or you go out, you meet somebody, they cute or they're attractive or they're handsome or they got money or they got status or educated or whatever. But what are they doing and how are they tied to your gifts and your purpose versus, oh, you just look good or let's hook up. It feel good for the moment because, moments are fleeting. But what type of purpose do you have for meeting one another, one? And two, if you're going to be together, you're going to be together. If it's for you to be with a person for a lifetime, you got the rest of your life to discover that. So you don't need you rushing in the bedroom.
Right.
So that's kind of where the angles that I come from.
So you call the book No More Bodies, and you have the continuation of promiscuity and meaningless sex. So when people first read that caption and they see promiscuity and meaningless sex, it kind of throws them off because the book is not just about, it has nothing really necessarily to do with sex, right?
It doesn't really, well,
it do and it don't.
It does and it doesn't.
Okay.
It has to do with sex because I know that I've been getting a lot of women inquiring about men and then, God rest his soul of this brother that was doing these podcasts out here that wasn't so popular for some and then
for others
others was. But as a way to talk about just the elephant in the room in our community, the things that we need to talk about, in my opinion, to move us forward. So the book definitely touches on sex. It definitely touches on relationships. But at the end of the day, I'm not telling the person who they should and shouldn't be with, who you should and you shouldn't sleep with, who you should and shouldn't marry. Doesn't have anything to do with that. It has everything to do with being intentional.
Right.
So being a barber, you probably didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm a barber as well, and having one-on-one dialogues with a lot of the men in the community and young men, there was a common theme. The music is promoting sex, the movies, the videos, everything's promoting sex.
Right.
It's just an imbalance. I won't say everything, but it's such an imbalance that the relatedness of black men and black women, culturally, at least from 50 down, I want to say 40s down, is, smash and go. Smash and go. Haven't really built anything substantive. Quick fixes. Everybody, everybody is, not everybody is a strong word, but a good majority of people are hypersexual and it's
for the right now, for the moment.
Yeah, for the moment. And I'm like, what are we building?
We talked about y'all saw me going through my phone. I wasn't being rude, but I wanted to show. He and I had talked about before we came on about my optometrist that I went to yesterday. Her name is Dr. Lockett, by the way. Amazing doctor. She's in Buckhead. And I was telling him about how good the eye doctor was, and he made an analogy about how that's kind of you said. But what was the analogy about? No more plugging. Don't kill the plug.
Don't smash the plug. So I got 3 chapters in this book dedicated to don't smash the plug. So the plug is the connect. If you think about a plug, a socket, and a plug, there's a connectivity. In order for a plug by itself is no good. An outlet by itself is no good. But when they come together, it produces electricity. Right.
Right.
Something can happen.
Right.
Well, if I sever the cord of the plug, then I just cut off whatever appliance or whatever instrument I was going to plug into the wall, right?
Right.
And I think our relationships are very synonymous. The analogy of you going to the optometrist, if you have 5 brothers or sisters who don't have insurance, let's just throw a scenario out, or their money is messed up, or they don't even understand that the need for an eye exam.
Right.
By you establishing a relationship with the eye doctor is a good thing. But if you sleep with the eye doctor and that relationship goes south, those other 5 people who need the eye doctor, that was just cut off. That plug was just cut off.
Right.
And you never know what bankers are getting ready to change your life. You never know what executives, you never know what person that you think is attractive for the moment, who they're going to introduce you to.
That's right.
And that person they're going to introduce you to is going to change your life. This person ain't going to write the big check, but they're going to introduce you to the person that's going to write the big check.
That's right.
But when you smash the plug and it goes south, and it's going to go south because in most cases, our character isn't of a stature where you can maintain the person. Because if you had the character, you would know that I'm not supposed to smash it.
Right,
you know what I mean? If I had the maturity, I would know that I just need to fall back and develop a friendship. Because if it's going to be anything, it's got to be that anyway.
First.
It's got to be a friendship. If it's going to be anything sustaining, But we just a hypersexual community. That's just the space we in. And then with social media, it's just pouring gas on it. So this book is literally about I'm just giving you something different to think about, another way to build, another perspective about it. Don't just try to come into a relationship and take.
Right. All you do is just get what you can get out of it. I want y'all to see this book up here. I don't want y'all to miss this. No More Bodies. If you look at the background, you can see the No More Bodies. When Jay was talking about Dr. Lockett, I was telling him about it, and he used analogies about money, and we were talking about how I went to her and I didn't even use my insurance, and we was talking about how cheap, how inexpensive it was, and that plug to tell somebody else, as you said, could have been cut off if it's not handled right.
Yeah, man. And because I realized, and I don't have all the information in the world for sure, but I've experienced relationships. This whole world is centered around relationships, right? For instance, when I leave here, I got to go to City Hall. And thankfully, I have some great relationships with City Hall, right? So much so that in the last couple of weeks, I've been able to give people business licenses who have been waiting for 2+ years to get a business license, right? Through a contact, come on, y'all, let's go. And they print the license on the spot, right? I only say that not because Jay is this amazing dude or he connected.
Right.
But what I am going to say is, if I sever the ties of those, if I do something to sabotage those relationships, then I just cut the community, the business community off. Now, it's other angles.
Right.
I don't have a monopoly on, City Hall, who you get connected to. But what I am saying is, by virtue of you knowing me, and my name is good in the street. Everywhere I go, my name is good in the street. I have the relationships that can help people. You know what I mean? I ain't got all the answers. I ain't got all the resources, but I have great relationships. And this world works with relationships.
Much better than it does without money.
Yeah, you can't throw money at everything.
You can't throw money at, and I'm glad you said it, and I hope people hearing that. It's never just about the money. And
money is a tool.
It's just a tool. We have friends that think like, how much money, and it's not about the money. It's way more about the relationship.
It's only about the relationship. If you ain't learned that by being in the house for 2 years, bro, some people jumped off the bridge, went crazy because they couldn't call nobody. They couldn't touch nobody. Churches was closed. Every synagogue, mosque in the world was closed. And there wasn't no touch. Now you need to figure out, who can I really call?
Right.
Who can I really depend on?
Right.
What resources are available for me? Because I'm about to lose my mind. My kids is going crazy. Who can I call to come see about these kids so I can just get a break in the action? You know what I mean?
And the thing about that is if you can't necessarily touch technology, in my mind, it's kind of hurting the fact that all we have to do is text or use some type of metaverse, not an actual. So I can hear somebody's voice. That makes a difference. I don't want to just text. So if you can't touch or be in the same church, talk to them on the phone. There's a lady that goes to the church I go to, and we talk pretty regularly. She said, I'm just happy to be talking to somebody from the church. It feels like I'm still connected, as opposed to me sending a text. Every time you talk, it's just a text. They never hear that voice to feel the connection in the spirit. You know what I'm saying?
So with that, we have 5 senses, and then that we can tangibly see, and then we have those other senses, being the third eye and then our chakras, right? Well, texting is cool because you're sharpening your reading, your optics. You can read, and that's a skill, right? But that's not a sense; it's a skill. Reading is a skill, right? Human touch, being able to touch somebody, to hear somebody, to be able to communicate and make eye contact with somebody. Being able to take some good food that ain't microwave. You know what I mean?
We cook over here, y'all.
Touching, just being in the space, man, of being, human.
So with this No More Bodies, I see you have a whole bunch of women on here. Is an image. Was this book written specifically for just women, or for men to understand women, or for us to understand each other?
It's for us to understand each other. I say, I did a cover where I use the different shades of female because, which is a whole nother dialogue we can get into on probably a whole nother show.
Okay.
But numerically, we are outnumbered.
Yeah.
Men outnumber women. Last time I checked, it was 29-1.
Men
in Atlanta.
outnumber.
No, women. I'm sorry. Women outnumber men.
Right. Okay.
29-1.
Right.
And that is considering the factors of
Incarceration.
incarceration, being gainfully employed, being heterosexual, being present, being eligible bachelors, not married. You know what I mean?
Right.
So considering those numbers is why I put women on the cover, because I realize, again, through conversations, it's almost a level of desperation for some, not for all.
Right.
And then when I look at the propaganda, for instance, I bank with a pretty well-known credit union, probably the biggest credit union in Georgia.
Right.
And I went on the website for the credit union. I went through every page, every link on their website, right? And people who look like me and you, it was probably about 3 of us total.
We do the same credit union. I know you're talking about. Yeah.
And so, and I highlight the credit union because money in this culture in the West represents power, represents family, represents responsibility, represents, what a culture should be, what a family should look like.
Right.
Well, if I don't see images that look like me and you, that means I don't have a presence when it comes to responsibility.
That's right.
When you go on that website and you need to get a loan, you look at their board of directors, and all of them look the exact opposite of us.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you need to go to them to get money. So y'all the gatekeepers.
Same sex but different look.
Same sex, but you are not a black man.
That's right.
Nowhere.
Yeah. Nowhere. Yeah.
But you see a black man when it's time to wear a hard hat or do some physical labor, and he in the back of that line. Or there's one on there where he's significantly overweight. Right. And I'm telling you, these are subliminal messages, man. And then you do have sisters who are in some of those roles, but I'm not represented on there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And money, I can't come to you for a loan. I can't come to you about business. I can't come to you about a mortgage. I can't come to you. I ain't nowhere in savings. You dig what I'm saying? You don't see me.
You're right.
So if I'm not in the picture around money, what are you saying?
What are you saying?
What are you saying to the culture?
Right.
So no wonder you're promoting, and I'm seeing a lot more sisters with white men, I swear. I seen a commercial, man, and it was, what was the commercial? I taped it. It was so, it was a jet black woman sitting around a dinner table. And she says to a white man, she says to her son, ask your father. Said it just like that.
With authority.
So I'm like, can I keep it 1,000?
Yeah, please. Yeah.
There are, I think there are amazing people in every culture.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
And I know some people in other cultures that'll do more for me than some of my own people.
Yes.
I'm clear about this.
Yeah.
But I'm also very crystal goddamn clear about the propaganda to take me and people who look like me out of here.
That's right.
Because we represent the seed. And if you cut off the seed, you cut off the culture.
That's right.
Right?
Right.
And the goal, as far as I can see, is to cut off the seed. When you don't own the networks, right? You don't own, the media, period. What have we created? We'll get on, them, I'm not going to name them, but all of these social media vehicles, where's our footprint?
Right.
What have we created? That's what this book is about. What are we being intentional about?
Right.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, what are we, you see the footprint of every other culture in the world. Now, the world will mock us and duplicate us.
Will grow from our seed of creativity.
But we don't own
nothing.
I got a problem with that.
Yeah.
And it's intentional.
But what's worse than that is, even though we may own something, what hurts me worse than them preventing me from doing it, but is my own preventing me from supporting what I'm trying to do. I have a bigger problem. See, I already know what the other party may be trying to prevent me from doing. Mm-hmm. But when my own see what I'm trying to do, mm-hmm. and then yet they make it even harder, I'm more frustrated with that, because see, I already know what the enemy looks like. But I don't know what the enemy looks like if I think you look like me and you're not.
Well, it's you do. You really do. You just choose to ignore it. Mm. There's a sickness in our culture.
Yeah, it is.
I don't care where you are on the planet, in the West, in these United States, mm-hmm. when you have a culture that is not yours, that mm-hmm. controls what you see, what you hear, even what you eat, mm-hmm. they own you because you don't have the bandwidth. Like, we have a community, we have a language in our melanin. Mm-hmm. In this, there's a language that you and I can speak fluently.
Right. And
we don't need nobody to interject. I can look at you a certain way and you'll know what that means.
Exactly what you said. Right.
But you have cultures who are intentional about cutting this off. Right. So let's dive a little bit deeper into these nuances that have been put into our communities and make sure that we go a different way. So when I say sickness, it was sold to us when we were finally able to get some glimpse of freedom, which we ain't even scratched the surface of what freedom looked like. Because by virtual definition for me, freedom is living my highest and best destiny that the Most High put me here to do.
Right.
I don't have barriers. Mm-hmm. But when barriers have been intentionally put in place, like, I can't just get on a boat and go across the water. Right. I need permission from somebody who don't own the goddamn water.
That's right.
I can't just fly over airspace if somebody got something to say about me going in the air.
Airspace, right.
You know what I mean? I can't even get a passport. I can't leave the place without having permission from y'all.
Authority. Less than authorization.
So all I'm saying here is, operate from a space of real freedom. We haven't even scratched the surface of what that looks like, because we grew up in this soil, and this soil is littered with sickness. The soil is sick. It's the seeds of rape, pillage, theft, lying. You dig what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, that's what this soil has bred. Right. And we are products of this soil. Thankfully, we're not the seed of this soil. Right.
Y'all, if you're catching this half vote, you probably noticed that we cut part of it out to get to part of what the book is about, but there's a part 2. So make sure you all watch, share, and follow Trying Success on the Old Fashioned Health Network, Good Health Inside and Out. And Jay, do you have a social media?
Yeah, Jay the Dreamer, Jay the Dreamer 73. Jay the Dreamer.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah, man. And I execute, man, thankfully.
All right, man. Thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate y'all. We out.